that charm early and often, it can be a problem. And actually, it won't be a problem because Redacted
It's
went ahead
already
and banned
banned.
the RE. So don't worry about hitting your charms or your Qs. It doesn't matter at all. You won't get to play it.
And it's hilarious enough to stem further off some of our previous analysis that Hecarim's gone. So Olympian, the main horse himself, not going to have that on his belt to play as well. Degenerates Ascension already peeping the tricks here. They already know what they're going to look at. And they go even further. They apparently think Olympian is the main man to fear here because they're sending a Scar ban his way as well.
And you can these two teams have done their homework. These are very, very quick bans. We can't even get the point out before they're already out. But four potential bans in the jungle pool here. That Morgana isn't just a a support anymore. She is a very, very fast, very
All
speedy
jungles.
jungle. So yeah, a lot of these jungle picks are gone. The Seraphine B1 pick, this is a lot less oppressive than it used to be, but she is still very strong from ahead, from behind, neutral. Seraphine is a team fight monster, and I look, this used to be the play. It used to be the force the enemy team to not ban Seraphine on the red side, and then you pick her up B1 and just win the game. We'll see if she has that same kind of
She's
value, that
been
same kind of strength
nerfed.
in this game.
Well, we'll have to see. Stats don't lie, as you say yourself, Mr. Shells. But on the flip side, Udyr coming through here for Degenerate, and we have seen me play this before in the jungle, and it has been very, very impressive. Combined with the fact that they're pulling away a lot of the hot picks here from Olympian, they're playing through Gunner. Through and through. They're looking to get the aggression out there fast. While Udyr isn't that same kind of man that he was here roughly 4 or 5 patches ago, he still has a heavy, heavy presence. But my lord, the point doesn't matter. We're already done with the first pick and phase.
Yeah, we're zooming right along. These two teams know what they want to ban, what they want to pick, and they don't want to waste any time. They don't want to give us any time to. Can we talk about them, please? Please, Redacted, Degenerates, please let us speak about these picks. But we'll have a lot of time to speak about all the CC layering and all the lockdown we have from Team
Yeah.
Redacted, Seraphine, Ash, Volibear, the Seraphine E. The high note is going to proc off of Ash, just W, or any of the slow you can get. Volibear has the Q, the stun. I mean, I want to speak more about this comp and what it means, but we are pushing through these bans right now. The Darius and Mordekaiser are going to be taken away from Hajime no Gildo, and then the Nico and Silas are taken away from the top laner, Mr. My Mind Blower.
Yeah, so a lot of top-centric focus here. Of course, those counters haven't come through. You could see the Volibear rotation at any given point for the possible flex, but Olympian has been known to play this in the past. I'm more likely to see him run with that one, but still, it's an available route they can take. Like you said, heavy control here from Redacted. Not to say that Degenerates Ascension does not have it. I see this team as a more of a scaling presence right now, especially when we look towards that Kai'Sa and Vigar especially. They're going to be stacking up, getting to the points where they are uncontestable, but I think the lockdown that Redacted is currently providing into this comp may push past that. Granted, as the game goes super late, Ascension definitely has that one through and through in the bag, but I like this. The Leona setup early here makes Kai'Sa so much more oppressive, puts her in a stronger early game position, in my opinion. Something that's contestable, especially when you pair it with something like Halo Blades, which is the common strat.
Yeah, and that's going to be the name of the game. I think a lot of times in these leagues, early dragon control is the best way to snowball a lead. It puts your opponents on a timer, and it's much, much harder to come back when you've been getting beaten down in the bot lane. So having something that has a lot of presence like Kai'Sa and Leona can be very, very strong there. But a Lilia lock in here, and I'm going to assume this is not going to be a lane Lilia, means that we're going to be seeing my Mind Blower on this Volibear here. So it's going to be Volibear top, and then Seraphine Ash most likely going to be paired in the bot lane together. This is going to be a very interesting setup here, because if you are pushing and you do see Olympian come on the backside, you have no shot of ever getting away from a Seraphine, Ash, and Lilia in the bot lane 3v2 if you get ganked. So the pressure is going to be there, but it's going to be at your own peril if you're not aware, if you don't have that vision set up, and you get caught out like that, even before an objective like Dragon, you can put yourself in such a disadvantageous spot.
Shells, vision? I thought we were just
You're
discussing.
right. No, you're right. You're right. Oh, my mistake. My mistake.
Vision
Damage.
does not equal damage.
Damage.
More pressure on the Rift. And to finalize this comp out, running straight into that Volibear, what looks to be in the top lane here, it's going to be Hajime no Gilda living up to the 1-2 punch that lives behind the name Hajime, pulling out the set, the boxing, the Rift, the fighter. That's going to be some early prowess to kind of fight into this Volibear, but definitely think it scales off. In terms of general comp layout, just right off the bat, the burst and lockdown here from Redacted that we've already touched on quite a bit is something that is going to be very difficult for Ascension to play into. Either way, I just think either way.
Oh yeah, no doubt at all. Look, I love the infinite scaling with Vhagar, the phenomenal evil power. All you have to do is hit your shots, and you're gonna scale. And that's very, very easy to do. You see that both the Udyr, the Leona, and the Set all enable this Kaisa in their own way. But when you just look at how Degenerates Sessions, their comp wants to go in. They have 4 champs that want to go in, and their 5th one saying, "I'll hit you from behind. I'll get that burst and lock you down in that cage, in that UFC cage. Y'all can duke it out there." You cannot touch the edges at all because they just get locked down. But Team Redacted is saying, "We want you to come into us. In fact, come to us while we're
Whenever.
yeah, yes. Even if you're in a choke point, that's even better for you. Please walk in one by one, or come in a group. We'll get you with an encore, and then after that's done, you can lock you down with the enchanted crystal arrow. We have Layla putting you to sleep, and Ziggs is not that bad. He's not as strong of a yordle as Vhagar is in the late game, but he is
True.
very, very strong in his own right. He can take towers very, very well. I'm not quite sure if the tower sieging is quite there for Redacted, but I'm not sure it's really going to matter all that much because they have such a strong comp, and the scaling isn't on their side per se, but they have a very strong comp that can take it away very, very early.
And while you do bring up this strong comp and the prowess it has when played together, that still brings in the fact that they've got to play together. We got to see a level of cohesion here. And granted, these players are new to this roster playing in this first week here. And this comp, while I think has a lot of tools and the win conditions are plentiful for the setup, definitely has all the time in the world to go wrong when you least expect it, right? You need to see those combos coming through. You need to see the launched forward engage with the Volibear on that front with the combined CC that plays into it. If this backlane gets separated at any given point, you will see an absolute destructive force come through here from Degenerates Ascension. And one thing to kind of pair away from that statement into Degenerates here is that this early game is going to be so crucial for them. I think Redacted do have ease of access, not to say that the comp isn't something hard to play into, but if Ascension does pull out a little bit of a stemmed lead exactly where you want it, that Kai'Sa and Vhagar, it's going to be much harder for the lockdown to pull off successfully for Redacted.
Yeah, it's gonna be much, much, much harder. But the onus, like you said, is still on the Degenerates Ascension here to get ahead early and then stay ahead. If they look, one false step, one throw, even if you do have both dragons stacked up and you have the first herald, Team Redacted doesn't have a team that just goes away, that just falls off. And it's like, okay, well, once you're ahead of us, we just can't do anything about it. They have a squad that can easily turn around a fight. They look good in team fights. I mean, they even have what seems to look like a pick comp as well. This could easily pick off any of these members left alone. I would not doubt to see that Aurelia and a Seraphine roaming around the map in the mid game looking for Udyr. That could be a potential good way to catch someone out. But the way I see this is there is far too much pressure on the Degenerates' attention to go ahead and get ahead early. I think that from behind they have to make far more desperate, far more ambitious plays to look for openings because Team Redacted can start objectives and turn. I'm not quite so sure how Degenerate Ascension's turn is at objectives. They have very good zoning, or they have decent zoning. They have much worse zoning. They have much worse zoning than Redacted. So they have to get ahead early, and Redacted can go ahead and be on objectives, even from behind to a marginal degree, and still turn from objectives and still fight effectively. So this is going to be a game where you have to assert your dominance early, maybe even put yourself in position to be vulnerable. But if you can do that and execute, this should be a pretty nice game for Ascension. And I think that this is going to be a banger regardless. I definitely see this being a really exciting matchup here
Yeah.
between two comps that are very strong in their own rights.
So I have to ask then, what's your marquee matchup? What's the lane you're looking at for success here, Shells? All right. We've got a plentiful bout of win conditions for either side, but what do you think is going to be that kicker that takes it home here?
It would be very, very easy to say this, and I'll do it. The bot lane. My
Okay,
eyes
go ahead.
are completely on the bot lane. You don't need to ever really proc the double drop the beat for Seraphine because Ash's arrows are going to slow. So it's always going to have the single proc. You don't have to wait for that triple for the passive to come through to get that stun down. So they're going to have a very fun time locking down this Kaisa and this Leona. Leona wants to go in. She has to go in. She's a melee champion. So you can definitely find a very strong way to make those things work. And like we mentioned earlier, Kaisa and Leona have to push. They have to have pride on the lane. They have to go out and make their presence known in the lane early. So it's going to be a nice chess match between we want to push and we want you to push, and which one of these two teams can execute better in the bot lane to parlay that into objectives.
Absolutely. And personally, in my opinion, if we're talking about the marquee matchup, I'm looking towards mid, right? Darth Kylo Ryan has already proven himself as a strong mid laner as he played on the winning team last season that took it all on Light League in that mid lane through and through. Goldfan, making the switch to mid lane, I don't know how it works out for him. He was the top prowess here on Merciless last season, and does that really transition carry over? Granted, they both have a good jungle synergy that we'll definitely be watching, but I think if Kylo Ryan is able to ebb out the previous experience here and Goldfan is put at a disadvantage, this would be a really good playing point for the side here of Ascension.
I definitely agree, and we'll have to find out and see how this is going to work out for these two teams. The skill matchups, I guess I am a less aware of because I wasn't here last split, but
Right.
but still, that's gonna have a very heavy influence on how the game is played. And when you're playing someone like a Vagar who just infinitely scales, I mean, if you can hit your shots and get that burst down and get that nice hat, now he already has a nice hat, right? He has a nice hat already.
Very nice hat.
If you can get that even nicer hat early enough, there's not gonna you really can't walk into him. He's gonna walk into you and then put you in that spot, and it's gonna be just a very quick burst. And none of these champs can survive a one shot from Vagar. Maybe Volibear, but he'd have to itemize into MR, which is not good because literally everyone else.
Everyone else.
Yeah, so you really can't itemize into MR, but Degenerates Ascension, they can. You have the Seraphine, the Volibear. We'll probably see full tank. We probably won't see the Nashor's Tooth variety after going tank Volibear, but Ziggs and Lilia, you could pretty well. You'd be pretty well to go ahead and go to some MR to answer Team Redacted. But yeah, Vagar in the mid lane is something to really be feared because early on he's strong, and later he only gets stronger.
Well, we're going to have to leave it up to the players, Shells. That's what I always say here. It's definitely going to be something hype to watch develop here as it is our first game of the season. But for us, we're going to be right back here. Shells, he's headed on his way. We're going to be introducing Dunsey out here. But either way, the Rift will make its appearance. Stick around. Stay tuned for the first game of the Excellency Light season. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Excellency Light League. We're bringing you the first week of the season. If you're just joining us, we're taking on here Redacted versus Degenerates Ascension coming into this first game here. I'm your play-by-play caster, Zephyr, joined by the lovely color, Dunsey, for the first time.
Hey Zephyr, man, my nerves are kind of tingling right now. I can't imagine what these light league teams are going through. Although Reformed, they've been here before. This stage is not new, so maybe first day jitters won't be there for them. Redacted, a couple of them coming back like you guys talked about, but Mind Blower on Volleybear, Gray on Ash, Solar Biscuit making their debut right now. Whew, I wonder if they got the jitters or they're going to be okay and settle down here pretty quickly.
Well, we'll have to see if they do it, but either way, standard 5-point across the board. No one's looking to make an early statement this season, much to the behest of us as the casting team here, but we'll be looking to see how they stem out. Where do you think this jungle pathing's going to go, though? We looking for a top lane, start, mid? Where at?
I mean, both junglers on the bottom side right now. It might be a 2v2 in the top lane early. Lilia's jungle clear has slowed down recently, but it's still fast. If you check her out, her stats are not good, man. She is the lowest win rate jungler in Platinum and above, in Gold, which is what we're playing in right now. It's just not good for her. Olympian kind of had his pool pinched heavily in that first rotation. So interesting to see him on the Lilia kind of throwing it back a little bit. They're both going to path down towards the Krugs into the Gromp here on the bottom half, and might be full clears for both power junglers here.
Right, and we've seen Olympian play here on the Lilia. While it isn't his aggressive pick or play style that he likes to run with stereotypically, it's something that he has pulled out in the past regarding last Light League season. But either way, the pacing still as slow can get here, and I want to get your marquee matchup, Dunsey. We talked about it on desk, but personally, where do you think the strength's going to lie here for this game?
I mean, I'm looking at both comps, and they're so similarly built and constructed. It's going to be on the mid and 80 carries from both teams, right? You have the Ziggs versus Veigar, both kind of scaling mages. Veigar is obviously going to do more damage later on, but Ziggs will provide more poke. And then Ashe versus Kai'Sa, this side, it's the Ashe with the utility, and he's able to provide some teamfight presence. But, you cannot underestimate Ashe damage if she gets ahead. And, of course, Kai'Sa is just such a late-game threat with the mobility and the killer instinct and able to move around. So it's going to be on those two champs. Darth Kylo Ryan, I negate it. There's just a little scuffle in the top lane here.
Hajime, no, he's got a good haymaker to respond, so he brings that trade to something a little bit more even, but continue on, Dunsey.
Yeah, Darth Kylo negated for Degenerates, and then Goldfan, and it's just Gray for the side of Redacted here. Those are the people who I'm going to be looking at in as far as itemization, scaling, and late game team fighting.
All right, well, my mind's, of course, on the mid lane for anyone that was listening, and we do see Gunnar make that appropriate tag onto the mid lane there. You can see he's already kind of low in terms of the presence, so he's just saying hello, as I like to say, Dunsey. He's just giving a little bit of the snippet, and because he's mid, they don't really quite know, but I think the obvious Skittle trade is obvious here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they kind of end up on opposite sides. You can see that Udyr decided to forego the Krugs and is actually going to be stolen, but perhaps he's going to find an early gank here on Goldfan. He's relatively safe, but yeah, no flash available for Gunnar Nye either. He has the Ghost, so there's really no way for him to get to Goldfan at where the wave is positioned right now. Instead, he'll just kind of go back to power farming here.
Speaking of waves, a good position for Olympian here on the top side. If that wave were to be crashing forward, he might be able to stem that, but he's already going for the initial back, so no care in the world to go for the Hajime no Gildo gank.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that Lilia is outpacing so hard right now. He's up 2 camps, got the back, and he's going straight to his Krugs for some more power farming. He's going to hit 6 here first. And once he gets that sleep, then he can kind of, I would assume he looks into either the mid or the bot lane to kind of start to snowball that early camp lead that he's got.
Right. Either way, both these teams just stemming the flow here. Nothing too crazy, as we'd always say. A little bit of a lull, Dunsey. How you been doing, man? How's it going? I know you said you had the nerves, but I think you're shaping up well on the broadcast.
Yeah, are we kind of being lullabied to sleep already? Is it 6 from Olympian? Or it's just like the broadcast crew being...
We're give it time. It's not that much of a snooze fest, all right? We can wait on the lilting lullaby for when we're in Game 3 here, but I will say it is definitely a pacing play, and You know, just to kind of discuss it, we talked a lot about the early presence that Degenerates Ascension kind of needs to have if they don't want to get into this cluster that is the CC chain presence comp that is stemmed here from Redacted. And having early game success is a big deal to make that work, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the early game, presence from these CC threats between Leona and even the Cage can do some damage here in early game skirmishes. Definitely can't be understated. They want to make some plays here, particularly around this first Drake. If Udyr is able to get down there and match the itemization of Lilia in time, she's going to be kind of making her way back down towards the bottom half here pretty soon, though, as she's finishing up her Krug and actually has the first jump on the Scuttle as well if she wants it. Top lane's crashing in and mid lane resets, so she doesn't have solo lane priority. Might be a problem if Degenerates responds, but it looks like she'll be able to take it safely. So just kind of building that jungle lead for Olympian. I like it.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see that transpire and prove powerful as it stems towards some of these lanes here. But I think I want to pull this back, get your opinion, Dunzy. Oh, maybe hold the thought. You do have Olympian running straight on there. He is going to be spotted out, though, by Hajime, so they're going to be pulling back. I will get your opinion, though. Who's the stronger animal here tonight, Udyr or Lilia?
I was thinking about that. I mean, it's got to be Udyr. He's just... Yeah.
But he's not an animal.
But he's all of the animals.
No, but he's not an animal, all right? Well, it's not the same concept here.
Well, even if he is a man, he's still more of an animal than this little eepish sheep thing that we got going on here.
What's the hate against Lilia?
I'm just saying, there's no hate. She's just,
Too many solo queue games, Dunzy.
Oh, man, there's too many Lilias that... don't remind me, Katsuki on the Lilia. I just sleep.
Oh, a little bit some heavy league discussion. And
here we go.
Speaking of discussion, Gunnar coming in hot and fast here. Doesn't expend that ghost yet, but the stun does come through from Set as he stems it down. There's that stun, finding its way onto Just Grey. He pulls out the cleanse to pull it back, but now Untitled Limits coming in. Good lilting lullaby to play off the 6 for the first blood to come through. Gunnar knee now looking low into the alcove. He goes. The Set video comes back around, but Olympian still finds the kill. Set running forward, but he flashes into his death there. His Hajime no Gildo is forced to expend it back as well. Under turret he is with the haymaker to shield. Quadra kill onto Olympian, even though he's taken by turret.
My goodness! I mean, that Quadra came out of nowhere. It was such a well set up counter there from Goldfan TPing in. He was actually there first, and Hajime had a later TP, and it was positioned further back, so they didn't have the numbers that they needed, requisite to fight there. And so I really, really like that level 6 power spike. He's got that extra level advantage on Gunnar, and then they just completely baited in Grey using his summoner so late. They got both cleanse and heal in the bot lane. So Solar holding that heal, Grey holding that cleanse and that flash to the last second, and they pulled the Degenerates into their lane far enough so that they could TP, they could respond, and they didn't even need Mind Blower. He almost took 2 plates in the top lane while all that was happening.
I will say, I love the stem of success here for Olympian. Plays a lot off of his last season prowess, and I see the showstopper come out here, but I don't think you're ever going to be landing that kill anytime soon. The haymaker is available, but Hajime is in no place to go for that fight. Either way, got pulled back here. Olympian playing off that same similar aggressive pattern, but it works out so much better as he stems off an incredible clear speed. And now he visits the top lane. Teleport is coming through here from my Mind Blower as Hajime steps back here. He does have a charge crit coming back, and there's the Stormbringer to pair this one out as another kill. Stem the way here of Olympian.
Dude, he's doing so much damage. It's ridiculous. He has a 500 gold bounty on his head 9 minutes into the game. That is absurd. God. A 5-1 Lilia. I'm going to give him a pass on that pathing error he had where he died and gave up that death back. It's just, that was, that happens. The minions got in the way. He kind of got auto.
Who cares? He's 5-1. It's 9 minutes.
Monsters. Okay, you know what? You were right. I take it back. I redact my statement from earlier. Lily is more of an animal. Man, Olympian, you're changing my mind here. I kind of went in on him a little bit hard earlier on on the desk, saying that he is a little bit too much of a solo queue mentality. Well, now he has this massive gold lead. Let's make sure that he utilizes it efficiently. I'm looking for him to push his lead safely and efficiently. What can they do? He has the Herald in his inventory already. It looks like they're going to get some plates.
Right, stem some gold further on to Mind Blower here in this top side. Get him as a strength for the forward that this team really needs. And now Hajime no, he's going to be caught out by the Lilting Lullaby. Storm comes down to slow as well. Bounce back, pulls it through with the knuckle down, but it's not going to be enough to save the kill. Now the bot lane on Encore for the double charm here as Negain set go in. Just Gray looking low. It's just going to be one more auto as they find the kill there in response to this Ashe. So 1 for 1, but still a stemming lead in favor here of Redacted.
Yeah, they're up, what, 3.5K right now? They took the top turret. Volibear's on the inner turret in the top lane right now. They might lose the Dragon. In fact, they definitely will lose the Drake because they got that bottom lane kill. But Volibear's got 2 turrets in the top lane. Mind Blower's got to move around the map now. Maybe they can help take the rest of the plates on this map. Can it be a steal? Oh, no.
Not quite, not enough for the power, but either way, you talk about it. Mind Blower in such a good position to start stemming the flow of this game, and this next objective contention is going to be so difficult here for Divine Ascension because at this point, Mind Blower's got nothing else to do, baby. He can find his way into any given lane. You see him, he's already countering the jungle out here to make sure that Gunnar doesn't even get a chance to play out this one.
Yeah, if I'm a Degenerates right now, I do not have Hajime in the top lane. I send him somewhere else, possibly in the bottom lane, and you can send your support there too. You want Negated or Darth Kylo Ryan to go into the top lane and freeze this for basically eternity because although it's great to take those 2 turrets early, you get a lot of gold on your team's inventory. It allows the enemy team to freeze if they so choose. Instead, they're giving the gold to Set, who, I mean, he's building damage, so he'll scale fine, but I think the gold on either Kaisa or Viger would just be so much better for them to safely farm that deep on their own territory.
Right. I will say you still have major scaling potential here for Darth Kylo Ryan, and I Negated here. Granted, by the way, we never brought it up. I Negated is the official sub for this Degenerates roster, but either way, my apologies there.
What?
Goldman! Oh, poor guy. Never like to see that. It's a bit of a shame, but hey, there's some gold in the pocket of Darth Kylo, but now the potential dive looking to come through here.
Yeah, they have to take advantage of this. Hajime does not have teleport available, so he's going to be stuck in the top lane. They're going to crash the wave here soon. They're going to use the ultimate from Mind Blower to start the dive.
Right, Storm into the Enchanted Quistera for a major stun. Mind Blower with the shield, but Negate's taken out. Set coming back for the double stun off of a great solar flare, but the Lilting Lullo guy gonna make sure that these guys go down as Just Gray. Does a great juggle, but he still finds himself at the death of the turret after the kill. Dark Kylo Ryan with a good flash, though, into the Primordial Burst, finds a response to take this to a 2-3 in favor here of Redacted.
Yeah, they do. They don't scuff the dive. They manage it all right in a 5v4 situation. Just Gray almost survived that, but kind of stepped back in, and now Goldfang's TPing. They want this turret. He's going to use his satchel to possibly finish this off and just get so many plates on the side of Redacted here.
Yep, they're continuing to bolster their gold lead across the entire map, and it only puts this team at a major 4,000 advantage here just at 14 minutes.
Yeah, I like that. I don't mind the TP down there because they were able to ensure the plates before 14 minutes. So that's an extra 360 gold on your team by securing, plus the turret. So worth the TP in that situation. Just make sure Ziggs is able to be near Drake. When it spawns in 2 minutes, you don't want to let Degenerates have any sort of window as far as a win con. And if they start the Drake stacking, particularly if it's an Ocean Soul that we might be looking at after this Infernal Drake here, it could be dangerous. So you want to make sure that you take that off the board and just secure that if you are Redacted.
Right. Either way here, Redacted, great position for themselves playing off the stem lead from Olympian. And while we do see some fostered kills here for Negated and Darth Kylo, where you want to see it, I don't know if it's going to be quite enough. We talk a lot about the lockdown available on this Redacted roster, and the fact that it's already stemmed to this further extent here at 15 minutes, it's going to be very hard. Extremely. It is a stacked deck at this point for the side here, Divine Ascension, or my apologies, Degenerate Ascension.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what the card strength was back when we had Redacted. It couldn't have been that high. They're kind of a surprise pull out here. You see, just, I mean, like, look at Lilia's items. She's almost finished 2 complete items. She's got Leandries in the inventory. Meanwhile, Gunnar, you know, the previous jungle champion. Oh, goodness.
Just Gray barely surviving the burst of the Primordial here from Darth Kylo Ryan. It goes to show that if he's in any position to capitalize on this backline, it'll be schnutty.
Dude, Just Great didn't even flinch. He has Flash and Cleanse available. He's like, oh, Solar Biscuits got me. He literally didn't use either summoner when he got stunned up in that cage. And he's like, I'm fine, and he lives with 2 HP, not even close.
Gosh.
Nerves of Steel, apparently. I'm the only one with jitters here on the side of Redacted.
Or lag.
True, I guess. Yeah, he could have Gold Fan issues as well, man. That was a little unfortunate. It gives Vigar his mythic. He's 2-0 right now. That's one of the win cons I see for. Gold Fan, don't get caught out here.
Don't get pulling forward there. I know you want to get the prowess of this river, but you gotta step forward, get the abilities out there. Solar Biscuit and Olympian, they do have to step forward, but the vision played into this river here is in a great spot to dissuade any further engagement. And Degenerates Ascension taking full advantage of that. They're looking to stem their way to a second Drake here now.
Mindblower's still in the top lane. When's he gonna TP in?
Not available. There's the Rift to find a stun immediately in response to Olympian. The killer instinct from Negated to secure a massive kill here onto this Lilia. So a drag and 1 kill. No teleport from Mindblower. That's a lot of success I see in Degenerate's future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. So Degenerates are doing the right thing. They forced the issue. They said, this is one of our win cons. And look, I called it. It's an ocean so for them. If they get that, they're already halfway there in the Drake stacking. There's a window of opportunity where Degenerates comes back, right? They have really good scaling mid and bot lanes. And they have a hard CC to support those 2 carries. My mind is blown by Mindblower here about why he's still up there on the inhibitor turret instead of helping his team secure that Drake. It was a split decision. He never took it in. If he's gonna do that split push, as they grab the Herald here pretty easily, then the rest of the team from Redacted shouldn't be stepping up to the Drake, right? If that's the call, then okay, give it up and take something else on the other side of the map.
Right. Either way here, they're still in a good position with the carried team, and now we do see Mindblower make that rotation to the mid. Mind you, his mana's looking a little bit worse for wear, but with the stemmed, what will be this Rift Herald. Ooh! Big burst and Primordial there. A little too early on Goldfin, but Hajime steps up there. Doesn't quite find it when he needs to. A good charge there. The Encore's going to charm him back. Haymaker comes out there, but a stemmed flow from Just Gray finds the kill either way. Set Gunner into this back. They're going to be the flash from Olympian, and the double finds its way over to the Ash here. Big solar flare, but the satchel to dissuade any further movement here from Degenerates Ascension.
Oh my goodness, the back and forth from both teams utilizing the CC was actually really pretty on both sides there. The cage was up twice. I actually want to admit, I thought that team fight was well played by both sides. They don't look like gold teams team fighting here. Like, that was...
Welcome to Light League. It's so much more competitive than you think.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like you mentioned, you called it out. The satchel dissuaded the enemy team from encroaching upon Mindblower within the cage. The Encore retaliated. They were able to pick up Hajime with the volley from Just Gray. And, you know, people these guys are playing with patience. They're playing around their CC. That's what I like to see. It's not just a mess. It's not a fiesta. These teams are team fighting really well on both sides of the Rift.
Right, and it's just a lot to play presence towards Olympian here with that early gameplay, but it's starting to stem back here. The lead hasn't changed much in the last 5 minutes, which goes to show that Degenerates Ascension are doing a great job to prevent any further collapse potential. Granted, that team fight didn't work out in the last minute there, but they're still finding a good source of damage when they need it here onto Negate and Darth Kylo Ryan, which can make or break the presence of this team as this game goes longer and longer.
Yeah, and something that's kind of really been unnoticed that we haven't talked about is look at the 80 carry CS gap, right? Just Gray has been fine, yeah, because he's been there, he's been, you know, team fighting, but he is down big time right now. Kaisa is scaling, but here comes the dive.
Big dive, Solar Biscuit Olympian trying to find Kylo Ryan, but he dodges it all! Nothing hits this man. He walks clean through. You gotta feel really bad here if you're Redacted on that one.
I would say Darth Kylo, you know, he was wearing his tap dancing shoes, but he kind of just walked out.
Oh
was
my
just-
gosh.
everything, that's just one that you kind of say, okay, nah, when's our cooldowns back up, and we'll try again.
We'll try again.
They
Put
kind
it
of.
back.
I mean, look at Zig's ult. It's almost, what is it, Mega Inferno Bomb? It's almost backed
Yes.
up halfway through, and he's pushing the bot lane now. They have a lot of turret taking potential, but it's kind of stalled out here a little bit for Redacted.
Yeah, at this point, there's not much that they can do in terms of pushing here onto Redacted, and they're already in great presence for the next 50 seconds regarding this Drake. They're not going to let the stem of control go the way, my apologies, of Degenerates Ascension at any given point here. So with the pre-prep, you've got Mind Blowers down here this time around. So I think it's going to look a lot better, and they'll find their way to their first Drake this game.
Yeah, they now have finally all grouped up. Mind Blower is no longer in the top lane. There's nothing to do up there. We're going to get a 5v5 here very soon. Redacted does have better vision around the Drake. Set's doing his job, though. Kind of clearing out a little bit for his team, get a little bit of space, but already having to flash away. It's gonna be scary for Degenerates here to enter this Drake fight.
So they shouldn't. Let's call it right now. They should not. They don't have the vision set up. They don't have the pressure available, and everything's stemming out here. They should not, Dunzy. Look at the spacing here from Goldfan, doing a great job on the zoning control with this Ziggs, and that's it.
Yeah.
No drag.
Man, Ziggs is so annoying. If you get enough ability haste on him, you can throw down 2 of those minefields before, like the minefield will last longer than your cooldown, and that's so obnoxious. This champion, eventually when he gets enough AP, he already has Leandry, so it's ticking damage, and then it's just walking through those fields is just so, it's worse than Kate traps, I almost feel, because there's literally no path. You get slowed, you get bombs thrown at you, you could potentially be have an Ashe or an Encore engage at you. So I'm glad Degenerates didn't go in there. You're right. I thought the cavalry was gonna come, but they made the right decision. I would have liked them, to have done something on the other side of the map, but sometimes that it takes you going to the Drake and being like, oh wait, crap, we can't do this, to figure that out, and that's okay. They made the right choice.
Right. At the end of the day, they're 2 Drakes up here. They have all the time in the world to stem a single ocean the way here of Redacted. It's not something you want to do, but they've given themselves that leeway in the early presence here. And I'd like to make a mention towards our producer, if you've got the time, pair us towards the current gold advantage here for the viewers on the stream, just so they can see this one out, read it with their beautiful, luscious eyes that I, of course, know are just so desirable.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a massive gold lead here for Kaisa. But other than that, I think that might be the only person who has a gold lead here on the side of Degenerates. You can see just so much itemization coming out from Lily right now. She just picked up another Seekers and a Fiendish Codex on that back. Meanwhile, she's already got the Leandry's Demonic Embrace combination. So you think that you have a few tanks between the Udyr and the Leona and even Hajime on the set, but no, you don't. Not against the Lilia, who is fed out of her mind. So it's gonna be rough to navigate these team fights because there's just so much CC and early itemization damage from Redacted already.
Ooh, a little bit of some presence here from Solar Biscuit. They're stemming out as Goldfan steps far into this blue side jungle here, and I love the control he puts onto the side of Degenerates Ascension at any given point, rushing these lanes in and making sure that they don't really have the point of contention here available, as it leads for Olympian into a free take on this blue.
Yeah, they're doing what they need to do. Redacted, they're kind of choking out Degenerates at this point. They realize we need to start to make this to balloon this gold lead. We can't be stalling out here at 4 or 5k into a Viger Kaisa comp. We need to push this at this point. So they do have Baron on the map. They can always possibly pull Degenerates towards that side, and they're kind of looking, but Goldfan's in trouble.
Yep, pulled back here. Hajime launching the attack. A big flash from Goldfan to start this one off over the wall, but Set, Kyle, negate it. They're all on the hunt. Into the blue buff he goes. It doesn't matter. Throws out the Mega Inferno suicide bomb, but he still's gonna go down.
That's kind of funny. It was a suicide bomb there from the Ziggs. He is crazy. He did a lot of damage going down there with him. Yeah, it's kind of like his own Kagura ult almost, just instant. If you're gonna take me, you need to go down with me. So, Solar Biscuit clearing out some vision, and I don't think Degenerates can do anything off of that pick, but it does slow down Redacted's macro play a little bit.
Right, and that's all they need to do. They need to find time to slow it to the pace where you get Kylo and negate it into a position where they have far more aggression on their tool belt available. You talk about the gold leads that are already fostered for these two potential carries compared to their respectives here on Redacted. It doesn't look good for Redacted. They might have stemmed a great lead with Olympian, but that only gets worse when you realize that you're playing into such a dastardly scaling comp, right? So,
Yeah.
it's rough.
It is a little bit rough. Here comes the next Drake, though. Ocean Drake stacking will be really, really nice here for Redacted. It's I'm curious. Are they going to be able to walk through the minefields? Who, by the way, ult was already back up for another 30 seconds at this point. Like, I think he could throw his ult and it would come back up before Drake. There's just so much ability haste here on the Ziggs, and the cooldown's so low. So they're going to get their lanes pushed here. Redacted has good vision in the river once again. They're kind of choking out Degenerates, like I mentioned. Will they be able to walk through the minefield, the Encore, the Ashe ult? Set Video's trying to peek his nose in there, but it's... Oh my god, he got ulted.
Whoa. Lilting Lullaby, another flash, Deja Vu, looking very similar here. Hajime can't really find his way to stem into this as they do see a big rotation as Olympian splits back towards that mid lane with Solar Biscuit. Big enchanted arrow and whiff as it finds its way onto that special, but the Stormbringer in this backline goes for Hajime as he finds the death at the face of it all. Big Encore for a double here as we see Nunner taken down. Set now trying to escape on this Leona, but not tanky enough under the turret. The rest of the team goes into negated, gets absolutely bursted down here from Goldfan. Darce, Kylo Ryan, the only one left alive here for the side of Degenerates Ascension. That's going to be a stem to Baron. Oh. Okay, he's good. Oh, go to
he's not just a gray screen. He will survive to help his team to the Baron here. It's kind of funny. I saw Olympian ping Drake real quick, and he walked down there, and he was like, wait, Baron's up. And he kind of clicked. He was like, wait, let's go get the purple Nash, the giant thing on the map. So they're going to do that, reset, and probably head straight to Drake for another 5v5. I imagine that's about to come. Hit Darth Kylo. Oh, thank God. No. My heart was about to jump. Degenerates, that would have been an amazing steal, man. We're going to get a 5v5 here in about 30 seconds. At this Drake, once again, very important soul point for Degenerates after giving up that Baron. Kylo Ryan, though, is in the top lane, clearing out minions while he doesn't have teleport available. Didn't take that summoner, so I'm wondering, man,
now he's just
so dangerous.
It's
Here we go.
very poor position for the two sides here, and I think the Degenerates realizes that they're in such a bad spot for the 45, and they just have to give this one up as well.
That's so tough, man. Those minions, I know they're dying to your turrets, but you gotta just sack them in that instance. Get the soul point. You're so close to an ocean soul at that point, but man, okay, so now they have to just wither this storm of the Baron push. Can they kind of just hold on a little bit longer, right? The Vigar has some nice clearing, and it's gonna be tough. Yeah, he's a little bit short range to be able to clear the backline, so we'll see.
It's just gonna crash for the time being. You stem the fact that you've got that Satchel Gold plan constantly, pressively pushing down each turret step by step. There's not a lot Ascension can do, but just take the bite after bite here. So they continue this burst. Hajime's on the side. He looks for something that Cage doesn't quite find anyone as these candy minions continue their siege.
Yeah, and man, Redacted are just so loose with their ultimates. They don't even care. I mean, I don't blame them. The cooldown's so low, and they're just throwing their gold sacks. Here comes the satchel. There goes the turret. They're just, here we go.
Oh, big enchanted Crusader to start this one out. Gunner knee, Stormbringer, charm for a quadruple encore. 2 members down. Kylo flash, negate it, dash. Set Videos under turns. He's satchel back as my brothers Olympian go deep into his backline. Doubles found. Set Videos as well as we see the golden come down. Either way, Blowers finds it as Kylo goes for the fountain.
Olympian is a madman.
What's the purpose? It doesn't matter. 2 turrets down. Nexus ticking. The team steps forward. They've got a little bit of BM in their future as a teleport's coming through. Shut down to finish this one off, but a Nexus in the hearts here of Redacted.
Yeah, Olympian on the turret there. Solar Biscuit, you called it out with the Rap God call there. 4-man encore was massive.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfectly clean, but it was a very strong showing there from Redacted. The Degenerates had some fight and a little bit of bite back. I'm eager for the next 2 games, man.
Right, and you have to remember that this is a little bit of a sub here for Negated. I honestly don't think that was a problem. I think Negated performed incredible in the spot lane, but the pacing on the top side of the map here from Hajime Gunner Knee definitely looked to be one of the proving weaknesses for the side here of Degenerates Ascension. But they did look very strong in how long they held that one out. It just took the final kind of combination here of Redacted. Voltron finally came together and went and just kicked some butt. Either way, though, Dunsey, I'm going to stem this one back to Shell so we can get some further analysis on where game one kind of went wrong here for the side of Degenerates